up, guys? This is Niche Girl 30 here, and this is the Monday after WrestleMania. Now, I actually tried to do an audio in my car on the way there. No Tama Girl, no Big D. Tama Girl couldn't make it. Big D, I do have his reactions recorded on my phone. That's gonna pretty much come a little bit later after I edit it and put it all together, so you guys can see his personal reactions, his personal views, his personal overthoughts or overviews on WrestleMania 30 as a whole. And I'm gonna pretty much call, I think, Big D's views of WrestleMania 30. But this isn't about Big D. This is about WrestleMania 30, and let's get started with the opener. Guys, I have never been more happy seeing an opener like this because as a child growing up from the Golden Era and as a teen from the Attitude Era, it was awesome to see one of the three most biggest stars, well-known stars that actually shaped and molded the company as a whole in the ring at the same time. You had Hulk Hogan, the guy who single-handedly put the WWF on the map. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin, the inspiration behind the Attitude Era, and then you had The Rock, the most electrifying entertainer in sports history. Now, it's sports entertainment history. But now it was so awesome to actually see these guys in the ring, have their catchphrases thrown around there. It really did bring up a great amount of nostalgia for me. I enjoyed it really. I enjoyed it a lot, guys. I really did. But let's move on to the first match of the night. Now, at first, when I actually saw Triple H versus Daniel Bryan being the first match of the night, I was kind of surprised. But then I kind of thought back, and D kind of had a point. He was like, "Look, he's gonna have to pull double duty. It with one of the he had to pull double duty, being a triple threat match as well as being with Triple H. He has to have a time to rest, which makes sense." But honestly, guys, it wasn't a bad match. I really did enjoy myself, and the fact that he actually beat Triple H, about freaking time he had his comeuppance, and it kind of made me happy. But as usual, Triple H was out there. Triple H can pretty much played the whole cerebral assassin role and kind of got mad and played a really good heel and beat the ever loving crap out of Daniel Bryan. But the one thing that kind of bothered me a bit was Stephanie. I like Stephanie, but there's a point to where your woman just don't need to be out there when you're wrestling. Sorry. That's just me. No problems with Stephanie. I like her as a heel. But it's to the point where it just got a little bit annoying. That there's only so much petting and coddling you can do when he's out there trying to perform. It kind of downgrades him a bit. She needs to be in the back watching on TV. That's just me. You know. And also the fact that she did Eskimo kisses before he went out. There's three things a woman should not do with their man in public, in my humble opinion. Number one, ask him to hold your purse. Number two, Eskimo kisses. And number three, really goofy, weird nicknames. No. That's just me personally. But either or, it was a really great match, and I was kind of looking forward. It actually was a great way to set up the main event. But before I get into the other matches, I will not forget about the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team match for the Tag Team Championships. Wow, that's a mouthful. The Usos, the Real Americans, Los Matadores, and Rybaxel, which actually sounds like a laxative. But regardless of that, I will say that it was a really, really entertaining match to watch. I really wish that this was the Usos WrestleMania moment, and it actually had the Road Dogg and well, they had the New Age Outlaws in it. I really wanted this to be the Usos defining WrestleMania moment by having them win the titles here at WrestleMania instead of on Raw. But what's done is done. Got to move on. They kept the titles, which is great. So and Daniel Bryan winning his match. Let's go on to the next match. The next match was the Andre the Giant Invitational, the Andre the Giant 30-man over the top battle royal. Guys, anybody could have won this match, but everyone kept saying it was a big show. Given it was a big show, but y'all, I love this match for one reason: Antonio Cesaro and Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston he never fails when it comes to entertainment. This guy had his foot on the steps after he was thrown over and somehow stayed in. He finds a loophole and he stays there. He performed the crap out of it. Seriously, he performed the crap out of that whole event in the ring. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Even though he got eliminated, it was still really good. Big E, he got eliminated, so that throws my predictions out the window. And Dolph Ziggler got eliminated after Big E did, so that throws my other predictions out the window. And that pretty much throws the whole thing out the window because I said it was a big show. I never really thought Antonio Cesaro, he was the dark horse of this entire match. Out of the blue, this guy literally pay. I mean, between him and the Big Show, they pay homage to Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant when Cesaro picked him up and body slammed him outside the ring. That pays homage to what Hulk Hogan has done, and how he put the WWE as well as Andre the Giant, how they both put the WWF on the map. I loved it. Really, really great moment. Classic moment for me. Honestly, guys, I enjoyed this match a lot. Now, here's a match that was pretty much a squash match, but extremely confusing. Kane and the New Age Outlaws versus the Shield. As much as I absolutely loved the whole ski mask they had on their face, which was cool, honestly, this match was a really it was a giant mass of confusion. Like, I had absolutely no idea whether or not this was a no DQ, whether or not it was any. I had no idea it was no DQ. If it was no DQ and you know about it, please leave in the comment section below and let me know, because I had no idea. I was just really, really confused. But the fact they were all in the ring at the same time, they body slammed the Road Dogg as well as Billy Gunn. I don't know. I really thought they were gonna break up, but I guess they're stronger than ever. We'll just find out on Raw tonight. But they ended up shielding up winning. So let's move on from there. The next match was actually Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. Now, this was a match that a lot of people were anticipating in the YWC and IWC because of the fact that Bray Wyatt was facing John Cena. We wanted to make everyone really wanted to not have it as predictable as it was, and it really was a very predictable match, but it wasn't a bad one. This didn't make Bray Wyatt look horrible at all. Bray Wyatt literally had his own performance. He had his own entrance, which I think was pretty cool. The fact that he had that Voodoo Diva dancing around, that Voodoo Priestess dancing around, as well as having a live performance from the artist that actually made his theme, I think was pretty darn cool. And the fact that he changed his attire was even better. And it was putting more focus on Bray Wyatt than John Cena putting focus on himself. But honestly, even though the outcome wasn't what we wanted and Bray Wyatt lost, it did not make Bray Wyatt look bad. I really enjoyed the match. And good grief, the psychology of that match was phenomenal and off the charts insane. They played that match so well. Like, literally, they were telling a great story in the ring. And I enjoyed it. Bray Wyatt creeped the ever loving crap out of John Cena. I loved it. I love every ounce of the I don't know. It's like the psychology that he was throwing out to him was absolutely awesome. It told a great story in the ring. And even though the outcome was what it was, he was literally trying to make John Cena turn heel. Brilliant. I have never seen a psychotic faction do anything like that in my life. That character is top notch, in my opinion. Seriously, great match. Great match. Now, let's move on from there. Now, honestly, guys, it was really great to see the Hall of Fame inductees out there. For those that haven't seen the Hall of Fame, my suggestion to you is to go back and watch it, especially listen to the Ultimate Warrior in his speech. That guy didn't miss a beat. He seriously didn't. Lita looked good as usual. Mr. T looked good. Everybody else out there looked good. It was really nice to actually see them again after seeing them on Saturday night. But let's move on to the match that literally had everybody on their seat, and everybody believed in their heart of hearts that this wasn't going to happen. The Streak versus the Beast. Brock Lesnar versus the Undertaker. No one saw this coming. The reactions were priceless. Kudos to the WWE cameramen and the WWE camera crew, as well as the production crew, to get the reaction shots from everyone in the crowd. The entire crowd was silent. The entire crowd in the audience, entire crowd where I was in the restaurant was silent. Nobody saw this coming. No one. And honestly, y'all, it started off slow. It was very boring. It was very tiresome. I was about to fall asleep, and it started to pick up. 3 F5s took out the Taker. And now it's 21-1. I called it! Okay. All right. I'm not going to gloat. I'm going to just move on from there. But besides gloating, I'm not going to really gloat, but honestly, I have my overall thoughts of the Streak, because it's going to be way too long to mention it here. That's going to be a completely separate video, pretty much either before or after this one. So you'll hear my thoughts a little bit later. But yeah, it's 21-1. The streak is now over. The Undertaker's career is done, and we'll just see what's going to go on from there. If Brock Lesnar's going to stick around and be the ultimate heel, or whether or not he's going to dip out, we'll find out tonight on Raw. But the only gripe that I have about the streak is the fact that the streak is always put in the worst part in the card, because the streak is the most emotionally draining event, an emotionally draining match that has ever happened in WrestleMania history. It literally sucks you dry. So having it in the middle and then having matches afterward, you're not going to care much for the match because you're going to be emotionally tapped out. Not to mention that your morale is going to be down because your favorite character is gone. So unfortunately, the Divas Invitational meant nothing to any of the fans because they were so pissed off that Taker have lost, and most of them left, which is sad because these women really deserve to have the WrestleMania moment as well, and they don't think they got it. I mean, nobody really cared because they were kind of mad the Undertaker was gone, and people started leaving, and it really made me sad because they really tried to give it their all. But honestly, I feel they made it even worse when they had AJ Lee keep the belt, because now AJ Lee has beaten all the divas. And now, what next? Like, seriously, it would have been great if she lost and had somebody else take over. But now, I don't know which way the Divas division is going to go. I have no idea which way it's going to go. And it kind of makes me sad. But let's move on to the final match of the night. The triple threat match, the guaranteed triple threat match between Randy Orton, Batista, and now Daniel Bryan. This match pretty much started off really well. I mean, it was really well, pretty medium-ish kind of pace. It wasn't totally bad. But I will say that at first I thought that Daniel Bryan, they were going to take him out on a gurney. But somehow he hulked up, got in the ring with Triple H and Stephanie trying to interfere. But the one thing that I can say is that if Daniel Bryan did not win this match, all of New Orleans was going to freaking riot. That whole place was going to be on fire. And seriously, for real, like, I'm happy that Daniel Bryan won, because Daniel Bryan fans are annoying. They really are. I'm tired of hearing the whining of the fact he's not being taken seriously. I'm tired of whining of the fact he's not getting his comeuppance. He got his comeuppance. Yay for y'all. I like DB, but for crying out loud, I'm tired of the whining fans. So I'm glad the whining fans shut their mouths, and now that they're happy that their boy DB has finally got the belt. And honestly, I'm really happy myself, because Daniel Bryan really needed to get a WrestleMania moment. He hasn't had one, but he has one now. And I'm happy that he did. But guys, personally, my overall view of WrestleMania is this. Despite what happened in the streak, this was one of the best WrestleManias I have watched in a while. This was very entertaining. They told a really great story in the ring. They did a very good job with the production as well as the shock value. This was one of the best WrestleManias I have watched in a very long time. Now, guys, I want to hear your own thoughts about this. Leave a comment in the comment section below, or send me a video response of how you feel about WrestleMania 30 and what you think is going to happen on tonight's Raw. Now, I'm going to put on my own response and my own personal overviews of the Undertaker streak being over later on. After I get that all together, it's going to be a discussion of the day. But, guys, I'm done now. I will see y'all later. It's Snatch Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. See you later.